going to be filming a review for the Revlon Nearly Naked foundation. I will be reviewing both the liquid foundation and the powder foundation, and I will be telling you my thoughts and what I think about both of these. The colors that I got these foundations in, the liquid foundation, I got it in 160 Fresh Beige, and then the powder, I got it in Light. And I will tell you right away that I am not a fan of the powder, but I am a huge fan of the liquid foundation. I featured this in my favorites video, so you guys have probably heard me talk a little bit about it already. But basically, this whole line is supposed to just, as the name is, you know, nearly naked, it's supposed to just be a very natural looking foundation. It's not supposed to look cakey or anything like that, and it's just supposed to look really natural. So with that being said, I will tell you, well, I'll start off with the liquid foundation, and I'll talk a little bit about the powder later. But basically, the liquid foundation, it's not supposed to give a lot of coverage. It's definitely a very, I wouldn't say it's sheer, because it still gives you good coverage, but it's not completely sheer the way a tinted moisturizer is. It doesn't give you, you know, like super full coverage. When I put this on, I can still see my freckles. I have some freckles up here on top, and I could still see them. And then even when I have redness, it doesn't completely cover them up, but it covers them up pretty well. So yeah, that's how the coverage wise goes. And then also the coverage for this is buildable. You can definitely build this up to be more of a fuller coverage foundation. And the way you do that is you put on one layer and you allow it to sink into your skin a little bit, and then you go ahead and put on another layer, and it gives you a little bit more coverage. And so I think that's what a lot of people like about this foundation, is that the coverage is very buildable, and you can build it to be as full coverage as you want, and it's not going to look cakey at all. It looks very, very natural, and I am into very natural foundations. I like foundations where it doesn't look like I'm wearing any foundation, and the whole, it just makes my skin look really nice without looking like I'm actually wearing makeup. And this is what that does for me. So I am a huge fan of this. Lasting power, I've noticed that, well, okay, this is where the whole powder thing comes in. I'll talk about the powder. When I had already been using this before I bought this, and then once I started using this, I tried this together, both the powder and the foundation together. And I've noticed that while I was using this powder along with this foundation, my foundation was not lasting at all. I noticed, because I would get up in the morning at, I would get up at 6 in the morning, and then, so I would put on my foundation, and I would set it with this powder, and, I don't know, by, midday, by, around 12 o'clock, I noticed that my foundation was, gone, and my T-zone was super oily, which is weird, because I have dry skin. I don't have oily skin, and only in the summertime, when it's really hot, my T-zone will get a little bit oily, but it's nothing excessive. But for some reason, when I used this powder with this foundation, it was excessive oil in my T-zone, and I don't know why. And then I noticed that my makeup looked very splotchy, and I don't know, it just didn't look the way that I left my house. So I just knew that, you know, I didn't know whether it was the powder or the foundation, because they were both fairly new that I was trying out. So I didn't know which one it was. And then also another thing that threw me off about the powder was the fact that when I put it on, it settled into the lines of my skin really weird. I have lines right here from, because I smile a lot and I like to laugh a lot, so I have like these lines right here, and usually, you know, powder will settle in those lines, and it's no big deal to me. I'm pretty used to it, but some powders settle into them like more than others, and some powders and foundations make those lines way more noticeable than others, and I noticed that this powder made it really noticeable, and it like really sunk in there, and it was just, it made me look weird. Like, it made my skin look older than what it is, and it just didn't look, I don't know, it just didn't look natural also, because it looked very, very powdery, and I would try to use a light hand and it just looked like I had a lot of powder on my face, and I didn't like that. And so, but yeah, back to the whole like T-zone, like oily T-zone thing. I switched over to a new powder that I've been trying out, and it's from Rimmel London. It's the Stay Matte powder, and I've noticed such a huge difference with that powder, because it doesn't make my T-zone oily, and it makes my foundation, like it makes this foundation last a whole lot longer than this powder made it last. I also did notice that this does oxidize, especially like the first time that I used it, it oxidized a lot. I put it on and it looked, you know, it looked fine, and then like 10 minutes later, my face just looked orange, and it was so weird. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this oxidizes a lot, and I don't think I've ever had a foundation that like oxidizes that much. So it was really drastic, but now I don't know if it's because I'm used to it and I don't notice it as much, or maybe it wasn't, I don't know, it's weird, because now I don't feel like it oxidizes as much as it did. Other than that, I love this foundation. It is very natural looking, it's very lightweight, I don't feel like I'm wearing anything on my skin, I don't feel gross, like, because a lot of the time I stay away from foundation because it just makes my skin feel really like heavy and gross, and I don't like that, but this does not do that. It just feels very, very lightweight. It feels like I'm not wearing anything at all. It doesn't even look like I'm wearing foundation, and if I do want a little bit more coverage for whatever reason, I can still get that look by just applying another layer. And the price is great. It's about, I think I got mine for like $7. So really affordable, and the powder is also really affordable if you want to try that out. And yeah, so those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you have any other questions about the foundation or the powder. Just let me know, and I will definitely answer your questions. So now we're going to get into the demo part of this video, and I will be applying the foundation so that you can see how the foundation applies and the coverage that it gives and everything like that. Yeah, so anyways, let's get into the demo, and I hope you guys enjoy watching.